so happy to have this job, and so excited to start life over in Ashford." Emma took in the young woman's pink, flushed cheeks and wide smile. With her carefree attitude, she was the perfect candidate for Emma's matchmaking skills. She rubbed her palms, warming them together. "So, we're off to O'Dooley's. Do you think we'll meet any men?" Rina asked as she pulled her purse out of the drawer in her desk. "Because with my new Hot Stuff blog, I could use some good interaction." Rina might claim her interest was in work, but Emma didn't miss the sparkle in Rina's gaze at the mention of meeting a member of the opposite sex. Oh, this was going to be fun, Emma thought. With your cheekbones, you'd meet men anywhere. "Why, thank you, Emma." Rina fluttered her mascara-free lashes with obvious exaggeration, then grabbed her winter coat from the back of her chair. Emma wrapped her heavy shawl more securely around her shoulders. Together they started for the door, but as they walked by the empty desk beside Rina's, Emma paused. "Can you believe the news?" she asked. Rina shook her head. "I came in late today and worked all afternoon." She pointed to the earbuds she often wore when deep in thought. "What news?" "The prodigal son has returned." Emma ran her hand over the old empty desk, one no one was allowed to take in case Colin Lyons should return. "I don't understand," Rina said. "You already know that Corinne took over the paper from her sick husband, Joe." The young woman nodded. "He's in the hospital, and Corinne's worried." "Right, and so is Joe's son. The man's a wanderer. He never stays in one place, to his poor father's chagrin." Emma placed a hand over her heart, knowing how she loved having her children and grandchildren around her. Even New York, where her granddaughter Grace lived, was too far away from Emma's home in Massachusetts. She couldn't imagine having a world traveler in the family. "But he's home now, and Corinne said he'll be working here." Emma pointed to the empty chair, a chair a few feet from Rina's desk. The possibilities flitted through Emma's mind, giving her an adrenaline rush. Colin was a gorgeous man with sparkling blue eyes and the most amazing smile, but he'd never stick around for longer than he had to. Emma knew this because he'd been her grandson Logan's college roommate. She loved Colin like he was her own grandchild, but felt he was missing out on so much that life had to offer. A warm bed to come home to, a good woman, a woman like Rina. Emma pursed her lips in thought. This was definitely something to consider. "Let's get going, and I'll tell you all about Colin," Emma suggested. "Sounds like a good plan." Rina headed out first, holding the door open for Emma. "Is he cute?" Rina asked. "Gorgeous." She raised an interested eyebrow. "Attached?" Emma shook her head. "Completely free," she said, and hoped she wasn't lying. She hadn't heard much about Colin's personal life lately. She'd have to ask Logan. What does mean?" Emma asked as she pressed the elevator button. She needed to know that Rina was open to a short-term relationship before she hooked her up with Colin. She'd never intentionally set anyone up for heartache, and though Emma would work toward something more permanent with these two, she couldn't be certain Colin would ever settle down. Rina shrugged. "Just, She tipped her head to the side. "You know, with this new job and new life, I can't help but think a little fun and excitement with a man ought to follow." She wriggled her eyebrows playfully. "You know what I mean." Emma nodded. She certainly did. Fun meant something short-term. If Rina meant anything else, she would have chosen the word relationship. "You're horny." "Emma!" Rina blushed a deep crimson. "You're terrible." "I beg to differ. Holding back your thoughts is terrible. Speaking your mind is completely appropriate. Well, when among friends, and you are my friend." She put a hand on Rina's arm. "Something about you reminds me of my granddaughter Grace, or at least the way she was before I sent Ben to look after her,